what do you think robots paired with AI will be able to do on a 10-year time horizon?
Sure. Well, first, I'll answer that first part about where do robots go in a decade. Even industrial robots are not popular yet. There's something like 800 million people worldwide who work in the broadly defined industrial sector, and some meaningful fraction of them work in factories. So let's say 100 million, 150 million, 200 million people work in factories. There's only about 5 million industrial robots in factories right now. So we're kind of nowhere with industrial robots if there's only 5 million out of 200 million people in factories maybe. But a lot of those, you've seen those robots on TV or on YouTube. A lot of them are articulated arms that can do things.
Yeah.
Can weld something.
The Amazon warehouses.
They can pick something and put it in a box. They can have vision, so they can spot a defect when it comes by. Some of them will paint things. Some of them will just monitor a machine and then reach out and adjust something if it looks like the machine is breaking. There are robots that move around, but they tend to move around on a grid. Like you've seen the ones in Amazon fulfillment centers that bring the shelves to the picking robot. They only move on a grid in very rigid ways. So right now, robots are very limited and very task specific. But as you add AI-type intelligence that keeps improving to robots, now we have robots that can walk around. If you want to teach a robotic arm to do something, that's a lot of programming. But what AI does is it turns the programming language to your language. You just speak to the robot, and say, okay, now watch me, robot. I'm going to start doing things and you imitate those. And it'd almost be the same way you would teach somebody who's brand new on the job next to you on the assembly line. So I think we'll see a ton more robots. How to invest in that is really tricky. I think it's actually harder to invest in robots than in AI itself. Because what I like to think about in investing is a great position for a company to be in is when it can supply something that there's a lot of demand for, and there's not a lot of other companies that can supply that thing, so there's not that much competition, and that will enable the demand will enable it to grow its revenue a lot, and then the limitation on competition will allow it to have good profit margins, and the two of those mean it's going to earn a lot more money, so you can buy it today, and then the earnings go up, and then you can, the stock price should go up in the future. What's so hard about robotics is it's not easy to, at this point, figure out who is supplying things that other people won't be able to supply. Because if you go on YouTube and start looking for all the demos of companies that are making robots that can do things that look kind of human, there's way more than 10 of them, and the AI software, it turns out that's turning out to be very competitive too. A few years ago, I think maybe people thought, maybe there will only be 3 labs that are able to stay pretty close to the state of the art in AI model quality. And what's turning out to be the case is, no, there's a lot more labs than that, and there's a lot more competition at the AI model layer.
And what is really driving that cost today?
What's driving it today is mostly most technology products get cheaper as the industry makes more of them, and with each new generation of semiconductors, right? So a lot of it is scale at this point. So actually, I think so far the factories look at the humanoid robots and say, I don't want this general purpose thing that I could train to do 50 things. I want like the perfect robot that does this and the perfect robot that does that. And so far, each of those little perfect specialist robots are way cheaper than the generalist humanoid robot. So it'll take some time for the price performance of that humanoid robot to compete. I think almost probably everybody watching this video has tried ChatGPT or Gemini at least once. But I think it's worth it to say, you know what, I'm gonna make a commitment to this. I'm gonna spend 2 weeks where I spend at least 20 minutes a day really trying to get the most out of this AI. Because if you only do a query here and a query there, the chances are you didn't give it very good queries for what the AI is able to do. And so you probably had a couple bad results and then you shrugged your shoulders and said, this is stupid, or I don't believe the hype, it's not really that cool. But if you practice at it and really try hard to say, no, these things can outscore me on every test. They're starting to remember, with some of these you create an account. With Gemini, to get the advanced version of Gemini, you create an account. Same with ChatGPT. They remember all the questions you asked. So they will sometimes surprise you by saying, oh, I remember from a previous question that you're a man in your 50s, and therefore the answer to the health question you just asked is probably this. But if you were in your 20s, it would be this other thing. And I thought, oh, I forgot I told you how old I was. So I think they are going to study us a lot, and maybe we won't have to teach them that much at some point.
So that benefit of a long-term partnership with an AI assistant.
Yeah, that could be one of the switching costs with these, which is once you've told an AI enough about yourself, you don't want to go try a new one.